Morning girls, this is just a correction of the classwork from Tuesday. So the question you had was this one here, and I'm just going to zoom in on the measurements. So A is pointing left, so it's going to go on the left hand side of your sheet. B is pointing to the right hand side, so it means it's going to go on the right hand side of the page. And C is the plan, and it always goes underneath the elevation, which is A, so it's going to go on the left hand side of the page underneath. Okay, so just to start you off, you always start with an XY line, the ground line. The width of A is 75, and as you can see, it's split up into 25, 25, 25, so that's what we want to do next. So 75 wide, measure 3 25s, sorry, it's 50 high as well, and that's 2 25s. And as I was saying, there's 3 25s spaced within the 75. So you can see your grid coming into focus. You can see there's a bit of an L block, and then there's an individual block on its own. You should see that in your grid, the L block and the block on its own. You can start putting that in heavy. Okay, so that is the elevation complete. We're now going to do the plan, which is looking down, and we're going to transfer all of our widths down along the page. Okay, sorry, that's just the colour scheme of it, so you can see where everything comes from. Transfer all of your widths down along the page. Leave a little bit of a gap in between your elevation and plan. Okay, and as you can see from the plan, when you look down, the width of the plan is 50, and it's split up into 25 and 25. Bring those lines across. Okay, and you see your grid again, and you can see I have two little L blocks, one in this direction and one in the opposite direction. You should see them here, one L block upside down and one normal L block. You can start putting in heavy what needs to be heavy now. Okay, you should see the two different L blocks. And again, I've color coded it just for you to see what shapes I'm talking about. The last thing you're going to do is an end view, and that's looking in the direction of B. And as you can see, it's a long rectangle on the bottom and then two squares. And to transfer your points, these two base points here, I know they're going to leave a gap, but you don't need to. You can bring the points up at 45 degrees. Now just watch, they are going to leave a little bit of a gap. You don't need to leave that gap. They're transferring those 3 points out to the edge. You don't need to do that. You can just bring them directly from here up at 45 degrees. There's 3 of them until they touch the ground line. So you might need to extend your XY line a little bit longer. And you're going to bring everything across from your elevation and transfer your heights up. Okay, color coding again. Okay, so on the bottom is that green rectangle, on the top is the blue square and the black square. That was your question for today done. I'm now going to introduce you to a new question, and there's a new little bit of learning in it. So just correct your question from Tuesday. And the question we're going to look at today is this one here. Okay, we're asked to do the elevation in the direction of A, B in the end view, and C for the plan. Now this is a little bit trickier than the first couple of questions. There's a new thing that I'm going to introduce you to, and it's known as a hidden detail line. But the difference is A is pointing right, so A needs to go on the right hand side of the page. B is pointing left, so B is going to go on the left hand side of the page. And see, the plan always goes underneath A. I am taking the measurements directly from this, so it's 100 out, 50, 25 and 25. Okay, it's also 75 high. There's a height of 25, there's a height of 50, and there's a height of 50 on top then after as well. Okay, I'm just going to zoom out so you can see this the page in full. And as I was saying to you, middle of your page, draw your XY line. We're keeping this to the left hand side of the page. So grabbing your set squares. Okay, grabbing your set squares, and all you're going to do now is just make sure you have 100 on the right hand side of your page. Keep it to the right. So I'm measuring that 100. And as I said, that 100 was split up into 50, 25 and 25. With all of those, you're going to draw vertical lines, and you're going to do this with your light 2H pencil. Okay, so vertical lines for each one. And continue them on down along your page. So your first one for 0, the second one for 50, then the two 25s. Now the heights, as I was explaining, it's an overall height of 75, so it can't be bigger than 75. So measure the 75, and then I said there was a 25, and that's the 50 on top, but there was a 50 from the ground up as well, so we need to put in that as well. So it's essentially 3 25s. We're going to carry those lines across the page, and as I'm doing them, I'm going to bring them all the way across my page from start. Okay, so at the minute I have my grid for my elevation. I'm just going to bring it back to the question. I'm going to zoom in. Okay. Okay, so when we're looking at this shape, you can see it's high at the back for 50, it comes over for 50, up 25, back down. Okay, and there's that little step in front. Just going to zoom back out now. Okay, so we should be able to put in heavy what we can actually see now, and that's what I'm just going to do. So, starting left to right, it's up for 50 at the back. Okay, it then is nothing for 50, and then it's up 25 for a width of 25, then it's down for 50, and then it's just 25 on the front. Okay, working from the top down, so the first horizontal line is only 25 wide, second one is 50 wide, and the third one is 25 at the front. Okay, so basically that is my elevation done. Okay, that shape. I'm now going to work on the plan, and as you can see, there's a square, two long rectangles equal width. The plan is 50 wide, and remember you have to leave a gap in between your elevation and your plan. So you don't really need to measure the exact measurement, but just grab your light pencil for a minute, and you're just going to do a light horizontal line. Okay, I've left a gap. The plan is 50 wide. So measure the 50. And draw the horizontal line. Okay, at this stage you should see your shape coming into focus. So working from left to right, starting to put in your heavy lines. So the 50 block, as I was saying, and then the two rectangles of equal width, 25 and 25. Great. Okay, so with the elevation and plan done, the last thing we're going to look at is the end view, and I'm just going to bring it into focus now for a second. So the end view looking in at B. When I look in at B, I can see a rectangle, height 25 in front, and then I can see a box, rectangle or a square, a 50 by 50 box. Now there is this surface at the back that I can't see, but I know it's from the ground, it's 50 up, and I need to show it as well, but I'll talk about it once we actually start drawing it. Sorry, now I'm going to zoom back out. Okay. With the 2 points, or any points that are in the plan, we're going to bring them up at an angle of 45 degrees. So just grab your 45 degree set square and transfer those points up at 45 degrees until they touch the XY line. So you should have 2 points there. You're just going to bring those vertically up. Lightly with your 2H pencil. Drop the 2H pencil for a minute. Now, as I was saying, when we were looking in this direction, we saw that box in front, a rectangle in front, and we saw this square, and I'm just going to put them in heavy, working from left to right. Okay, so the two outside lines are heavy. And now working from the top down. We have the box that was 50, and then we have the 25 in front. I'll bring you back to the book for a second. Okay, so we have that 25 and we've that 50. Now this is at the back. Now it's there, but when I'm looking in at B, I can't see it straight away, but it is there and I need to show it. It's not going to be a heavy line. Okay, so you can see in my construction, my grid, I have a line there, but when I look in here, this shape is being blocked by this surface. So I can't see it, so it's not going to be just a heavy line going across. It's a thing called hidden detail. It's a line that's there, but that it's been blocked by another surface. So this line, when I look in this direction, I can't see it because this wall is kind of blocking me, but I need to show it. I need to show it its hidden detail, and that is just a dotted line. Little spaces in between and equally spaced then afterwards. At this stage, that's called hidden detail. You've also looked at fold lines, and fold lines are very different. They're long line, two short lines, long line, two short lines. And it's just making sure that you don't get confused with that. So just to recap, you need to come up at 45 degrees from the plan to the end view. Do your elevation first, and you always follow the direction that the question is going in. I'm going to give you 2 questions today, and these are your 2 questions for today. And what you're going to have to do is draw the elevation, the plan, and the end view for each, and there is going to be a hidden detail in it. Again, you're going to follow the direction of A, B, and C. So for the first 3 questions that you did last week, or on Tuesday, A was pointing left, so you put it on the left-hand side of the sheet. You can see A is pointing right, so A needs to go on the right-hand side of the page. So you can see earlier on, with the first question I did, A was pointing right, so I put it on the right-hand side of the page. You can see it here, it's on the right. B is on the left, and then C is underneath. I can fit a whole other question on an A3 page, but if you're working on A4, you'll just turn over your sheet. You'll keep A on the right, B on the left, and C underneath in every question that you're going to do today, and that's these 2 questions. Okay, I'm going to upload them as a picture, and you can start into them once you have this one done. So you have to do this one first. This is your example. And it's showing hidden detail. And don't we always label our drawings, elevation, plan, and end elevation. So I'm just going to do my horizontal line, measure my 4 mil. Sorry, and then that underneath. And now once you've that done, you can label elevation, plan, and end elevation. Capital letters, neatly written. Now we know this is an end elevation, but you can call it end view if you like, just for short. Okay, so you're going to draw this, you're going to join me live, and then you're going to start doing the 2 questions. If anyone has any questions during that time, you can ask me at that stage.